In this video, I will be showing you how to review and edit an employee's deduction and accruals in Employer on the Go. Depending on the level of access granted by your payroll company, you may or may not have access to all features discussed in this video. On the main dashboard page, you will begin by selecting Employees and then Employees and Contractors. Once the page loads, you can then select the employee you wish to view and then select the Deductions and Accruals tab. If you need to edit this employee's data, select Edit on the bottom right-hand side of this screen. There is a delete icon here, but I highly recommend never to delete an employee that you have processed payroll on. Quick note for this section, the Deductions section not only houses deductions, but is also where reimbursements, garnishments, advance repayments, and taxable fringe benefits are recorded. Once you're in edit mode, you can now add a new deduction to this employee's file or edit an existing one. Select Add a Record, and then from the drop-down field, select which deduction or item you wish to set up on the employee's file. By selecting the existing deduction on the item, some fields will pre-fill based on how the deduction is set up at the company level. These items are pre-filled, can be editable. The effective date can be left blank. The deduction will begin on the next scheduled payroll. If you want the deduction to be future dated, you can enter that date that falls within the pay period you want it to begin. The calculation method is pre-filled. This can be changed if needed. The frequency is also pre-filled. Update if needed. Priority field is used if an employee has a shortfall in their pay to cover their deductions, this deduction. By entering a priority from 1 through 99, the system will attempt to fund the deduction in numeric order. The vendor is usually completed at the company deduction level, but this is very important that you are setting up a garnishment that the vendor is entered here at the employee level and not at the company garnishment level. If the calculation method is a fixed amount, you'd be able to enter in the amount field. If the percentage calc is selected, enter the percentage in the percentage field. The monthly amount field is not currently in production. This field is reserved for future development. The max amount field is another field that is pre-filled from the company deduction setup. It can be altered here, but please note, if you do see the $9,999,999.99 in this field for a pre-tax deduction, I suggest not to change this. This is a wildcard number in our system so that the system will look at the federally dictated limits. This must be in conjunction with the W-2 coding on the company level deduction. The start and end date can be used for garnishments and advances if you wish to future date and end date. Balance and original amount will only be used for garnishments or advances. Once the system reaches 0 on the balance amount, the garnishment or advance will no longer be withheld. A case number is required if you want the payroll system to make a vendor payment to the garnishment agency. If you want this deduction to be included on an employee's secondary check, or that secondary check if they are being paid on 2 separate checks, this deduction will be on that second one. The catch-up box is used for retirement deduction. The employee qualifies and elects to participate. FYI, the date of birth is a required field on the employee's file to confirm the employee is of age. Once completed with your entry, enter the check mark. The bottom section of this screen is used for accruals. If your company offers any type of time off benefit, such as sick, time, vacation, or PTO, you can assign it to the employee here. This accrual was most likely set up by your payroll company. If you have any questions about the accruals, you can please contact your payroll company. To add or edit a record to the employee, select Add, or you can select the pen icon next to the existing accrual. You would enter the hours balance of the employee's last payroll run on the employee. This balance amount may include any amount that was rolled over from the last benefit accrual's expiration. The hours earned is the number of hours the employee has earned in the current year. The hours used is the number of hours the employee has used in the current year. The running total hours are used for accrual limits. The system will review the setup to see if there is a total max hour an employee can accrue for the year. The max hours is the maximum number of hours an employee is authorized for accrual during the year. If you want this employee to begin accruing in the future and not on the first payroll the benefit is set up, you can enter one here. The start date would be used if and only if the accrual is set up accordingly. Please contact your payroll company for clarification. If utilized, a date can be entered here so that if there are tier levels on accruals, the system will look at this date to begin the accrual rate. For example, if your company offers 1 week of vacation for employees for their first year of service, then maybe you offer 2 weeks of vacation if you're employed for 2 to 5 years, and then maybe 3 weeks for 5 to 10 years, and so on. A date entered here would determine that rate where that employee would start. If at the end of this benefit the employee can carry over any unused hours, that carryover amount may be limited, so you can enter that carryover in the max hours here. If you want this accrual to be calculated on the employee's second check, select this box. And this last feature is really neat here. You can technically override the accrual setup that is on the company level and enter a customized accrual hours here. You would select override and enter the override amount. This accrual will calculate at this rate until it is removed. I also want to point out that both deductions and accruals can be updated on an employee file by selecting employees and then selecting the applicable areas, the accruals or deductions. This will bring up all employees that have deductions or accruals, depending on the screen you're viewing. You can sort the data by the deduction or accrual, and then add or edit the employees' files here. If you have any further questions or need further assistance, please contact your payroll company.